What is believed to be the first toxic shock syndrome case involving a child in Iowa is now being treated at Mercy Hospital in Cedar Rapids. The victim, a 6-year-old boy. He is apparently out of danger and recovering now. Dave Franzman at Mercy Hospital live right now with a report on this very unusual medical development. Dave?
Doug, medical statistics tell us less than 1% of non-toxic shock victims are non-menstruating women. That includes men and children. In fact, the disease was first discovered in a child. But such cases are very rare, and here at Mercy is one good example. The vast majority of toxic shock cases have involved women and tampons, but it is a disease that can be caused in other ways. For 6-year-old Mark Johnson, it started with a playground accident that put some blisters on his hand. The infection caused a high fever, diarrhea, and all the classic signs. For a while it was touch and go. Mark was put in intensive care Saturday and just got out today. Thankfully, with a quick diagnosis and medical intervention, he's past the crisis stage. The prognosis now is for a full recovery with few after effects. Now with me now is Dr. Scott Now, a pediatrician who followed the case, and Mark's father, Rick Johnson. Dr. Now, how rare is this? Are we sure this is the first case of a child in Iowa?
Well, it is indeed a rare instance, as you said, constituting less than 1% of all cases of toxic shock syndrome. Whether this is the first case in Iowa, I can't be certain. I know of no previous cases treated here in Cedar Rapids, and I know also of no cases treated at University Hospital over the past 5 years. So the chances are fairly good that it may be the first case treated in Iowa.
Was it a difficult case in the fact that it is so rare, would you think, of toxic shock in a child?
Well, the presence of symptoms that he had, high fever, diarrhea, vomiting, rash, and the presence of a staph infection pointed fairly conclusively to toxic shock syndrome early on.
6-year-old Mark Johnson may look like he's never had a sick day in his life, but a few weeks ago, things were a little different. His problem started with a playground accident that put some blisters on his hand. The resulting infection caused a high fever, diarrhea, and all the classic signs of toxic shock, putting Mark in the intensive care unit for several days. But luckily, quick medical intervention turned things around. And now that he's out of danger, Mark's parents, Rick and Lucille, decided to celebrate, inviting the doctor, several nurses, family, and friends out to dinner. Mother Lucille works at this restaurant, and her boss sprang for the meal. Dr. Scott Now, who worked on the case, said despite the tense moments, Mark has no after effects from his bout with toxic shock.
He appears to be a complete recovery and would have very little chance for any recurrence at all. He's doing really as well as we could hope, I think, at this time.
And Mother Lucille says she has her own way of knowing Mark's okay now.
When he starts arguing with his siblings, your child is normal, and he is very normal and very active, doesn't get tired like when he first came home, and just really enjoys being healthy now.
Though children in other states have come down with toxic shock before, it is rare, most cases striking women. Mark is the youngest case in Iowa to date. And what does he remember about all that time in a hospital and a close brush with a rare disease?
Nothing.
Well, maybe that's the best. Dave Franzman, To Your Health, TV 9 Eyewitness News.